Hello, this is Pat Cahill from Pat Cahill Metalworks, and today I thought we'd do a simple little bangle but with a twist. And I'm starting out with a piece of 10 gauge sterling silver wire, and I've marked the center of it and actually made it off the side. I made a little, with my round nose pliers, I started to make a loop there. And we continue to make that loop and continue. And you're going to get like that. So you want to take a set of pliers and bring that back out the ends. I don't know if this is totally necessary, but I like to do it this way. I think I'll show you why in a minute. So the next is to tighten down your loop as much as possible. So I'm going to need a hammer. I'm going to use a wooden surface and a rawhide mallet. You could also use a plastic one. I wouldn't use a metal one. We're trying not to get any nicks in it. So you see what I'm doing, I'm making that as tight as possible. And when they start to overlap, it becomes harder to bang it, so that's pretty good. I like to get it a little bit better. So you see I'm widening it on the ends so that I have more leverage right at the tip here. Alright, so that's what we got. It's nice to, at this point, to even up the ends. Even though I tried to get it exactly in the middle, they're a little bit off. So what I'm going to do is just put them in my miter jig, sorry. I didn't finish my sentence. And tighten that down real good. Again, this isn't really necessary. It is necessary. Actually, this isn't necessary for what I'm making today. We're making a bangle, so it doesn't matter. But I do want the ends to be nice and flush, so we'll do that. If you can also make a cuff out of this, and that just means that you're not making it a smaller in length, and you don't solder the ends. And you'll see that later on. So I'm just going to, maybe I'll just use these snippers to get most of the filing done. Cover it up so it doesn't run across the room. File and sand. This just makes the ends, perfectly flat, so that when I put them together for soldering, they go together in a nice way. Okay. Now, that's what we got. Now we want to flatten this out with a hammer, and you're going to have to use a metal surface with a metal hammer. I'm going to use this one. Only because it has this rounded corner. If you actually went like this and banged it, you could get little nicks in here at the edge. So if it has a nice rounded corner, you might as well use that. So what I'm going to do is just beat the heck out of this guy at the end. side too. Okay, so that's that, and you're always going to get some nicks and stuff, so you want to clean that up a little bit. The more you clean it up, I mean, it's not necessary. If you like it a little more rugged looking, you can leave it, but I'm just going to clean it up a bit. And that just involves, I want to make this curve as nice as possible. Okay, and then I want to file down each side and then sand it. So, file it. And you'll see when you got it because it'll all turn shiny and get rid of these lower spots. So I'm going to do that off camera, and I'm then going to sand it. Well, maybe I'll do this side on camera. I don't think this is going to be a very long video. It shouldn't be. On either side. Well, I will do this off camera because all it is that, and then you move to a sandpaper, sanding stick, coarse grit, and then to a finer grit. And that's all there is to it. So let me get that done, and I'll be right back. Okay, so that's all cleaned up. It could probably be cleaned up more if you want. And now all I'm doing is just pulling it apart like that. And then it's going to form our twist. Like I said, a bangle with a twist. Now, what I want to do is just bring these guys around just like you've seen before, so that we can solder those two. Try not to involve my centerpiece, my twist. I'm gonna get it a little bit, but, and you've seen this again before, but a lot of jewelry making is doing the same thing and then modifying it slightly so you get a unique piece. So I brought those together, and they can be brought together better. You want to get them just as perfect as possible. Just like that. And notice again that I'm not at all trying to make it round yet. I just want to get a good seam here. So let me get my soldering station up. And I think that's good. You can tell when it's good. That could be a little bit better. I'll fiddle with that just to get the perfect joint. Just like that, and get the soldering block up. And I'll be right back. Okay, so I have it all set up. I fluxed it and put a chip of solder on it. And now we're just flow that solder. So I'm trying to heat up the whole piece again. Things I say almost every episode. You don't have to do this with gold, by the way. You don't have to heat up the whole piece. You can concentrate, right where your joint is. Gold's so much nicer to work with. Of course, you gotta have good clientele that are willing to pay, or just a lot of money. Gold's expensive. I don't really like the way this seems. Maybe I should have annealed first. I might stop this. I don't like to see. Here we go. Let me show you. See how that's not lining up at all? It was before I started, but now it isn't. So actually, the fact that I annealed this, essentially annealed it by heating it. Let me just put that in the pickle and let me get back to you and get a much nicer seam. That's important. Okay, back. Reflux, put my solder chip back on. And now we're heating it. And the seam looks a lot better now. I probably should have suggested to, after we did that hammering and stuff, and I've never annealed this, so this is kind of spring hard, so it's a little bit more difficult to line up your seams and have them sit when it's so harder, so it's much better if it's dead soft or after annealing. So there we go, there's a tip to prove worthwhile. We're making bangles, joints for bangles. Alright, so that's flowed. I'll put that in the pickle and I'll get back to you. Okay, so the next thing to do is just to clean up the seam a bit. There's always going to be a solder blob or something on there, so some files. I'm looking for my burette file. There we go. And then we just go around and get rid of burette files, a triangle file. There we go. So my fingers are in the way, but I'm just slowly getting away. Just getting that last little remnant of solder that's what you want in all bangles. You want it so that you can't see where it was joined together. That's your goal. If you need to see it for some reason, like you're repairing it or making it larger or making it smaller, it's easy to see it even by just heating it up, and you will notice that the solder itself is a little bit darker color when it gets heated than the silver, the sterling. But in everyday use, you want it to be invisible. Alright, so that's that. I'll probably clean that up just a little bit. Actually, I'll just do that now with my sanding thing on my flex shaft. Don't go nuts on this one. Or else you're going to have a thinner part of your bangle. That's good. And later on when we polish it, it'll disappear. So, time to go over to the our hammering station or mandrel or bracelet mandrel. And let me get that set up camera wise and I'll bring you back. Okay, so here we are. And slowly we're going to round it out. Now this might be more useful to have a round mandrel rather than this oval one. It'd be more convenient, but you can still do round things on it. So the trick here is to stay in one spot and then go all the way around. So you're putting that same arc on the whole thing all the way around. how I'm just moving it and staying in the same spot? Now we have a round angle. We won't have a flat one. So we'll have to. Okay, so here's your round bangle. It's a little. There's some ups and downs there. Here, let me go get my. Excuse me. My metal block, and you can see that that's not nice and flat. So I actually want my other one, so I don't do what I said earlier in the day. Although this does have a relief here, it's not as good as the round relief I have on the other one. And we're going to have to be careful about the twist, because you don't want to flatten that. That's the draw of the bangle. So I'll flatten that over there, and the next step really is just polishing it, and we're pretty much done. Like I said, it's quite an easy thing to make, but it's neat. It's a little bit different. And you see a lot of these in cuffs, but you don't see a lot of them in bangles. So I'll be right back. Maybe I'll show a little buffing, but alright, so there you have it. A bangle with a twist. And that's a little small for me. There you go. It's nice, and it's easy to make, and it adds a little bit of flair, a little bit different, as I said before. So thank you for watching, and I hope to see you again sometime. Goodbye.